Well, hello, my pretties. I couldn't decide if I want to do a recorded version or a live feed. So, a live feed it is. Most people will see it on the live feed archive. Perfectly cool. But just as the title communicates with you, gosh, I got my last mortgage paid off. It was a goal of mine that I've been working on since home values went up, and I want to share what I've learned along the way to help those of you who are interested in getting ahead financially, so that ultimately it's never about the money, it's about what you want to do with more free time to have just more options in life, really. That's the end goal. It's never the money. My first visitor just logged on. Welcome. So throughout all of this, just feel free to ask questions and to make comments along the way. The engagement is what really makes the live feed worthwhile versus doing a recording. So I'm going to share a bunch of philosophies that I had to adapt to and change to that helped make all of this possible, and maybe at the end of the day it might help you with something. Who knows what it is? And it doesn't mean you're going to buy real estate, but it could mean you want to do whatever. It doesn't matter. If I share something with you that helps you along your own path that you've designed for yourself, that's freaking awesome. Hello, Melaine. God, I love that you're here. Lisa, love that you're here. Okay, so I got this little disposable whiteboard here to help with some visuals, and I don't know if the camera is going to flip everything around. I have no idea. And wow, a bunch of people just signed on. Great, I'm glad you're here. So I bought my first 5 properties in inside of a year and a half. And for most people, that is not possible. But the thing that makes all of this, I don't want to say possible, but the thing that makes all of this happen more quickly than it would otherwise is leveraged income. So all of this is going to be centered around leveraged income. The reason for that is because leveraged income is the thing that decouples your time from your money so that you can spend your time doing whatever the hell you want, and your bills are automatically covered regardless. And that's freedom, right? That's more options in life. That's whatever you want it to be for your own goals and your own rationality for that. So right off the bat, I'm going to point to this little piece here. There's birth and death. I've made a lot of videos about this, and there's some arrows that points to the dash between your birth date and your death date. So you go to a cemetery, there's always a birth date and a death date with a little dash in between the birth date and the dash date on every tombstone. That dash represents, obviously, your life here on Earth. And so that's what leveraged income is for. It's for that dash, how you're going to spend your time. It's never about the money, but you need the money, the leveraged money, to be able to do what you want with that dash. And for me personally, and I think for probably just about everyone, this is true. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the most important thing in life, in this dash right here, is the quality of the connections and the relationships that we have with other people. If we don't have them, depression sets in. It's psychologically very harmful. But if we have really good, healthy relationships with wonderful, loving, supportive people, then we're generally pretty happy. Even through the hard times, it's a lot easier, because at the end of the day, that is the most important thing. It's the healthiest thing in the world, even more so than physical health. And if you know me, I'm deep into physical health, but even more important than physical health, it's the relationships that we have with other people. It's by far and away the most important thing. It's not the money, it's the relationships. But the money, more so the quality of the money, leveraged money, makes this more attainable to do what you want with that dash between your birth date and your death date. So that's going to be the most important thing through, all of this whole video and everything that I ever teach or share or demonstrate in all of my thousands and thousands of pieces of content. So this is just another piece of content that hopefully helps you connect those dots. Okay? So let's get on with it. So I have, and I'll be completely transparent with you, I have 8 properties. One of them I live in. We'll call it my homestead because that's what it is. And then I got 7 investment properties, and all of them as of just before Christmas this year. It's 2021. It was just a few days before the holidays. I satisfied my very last mortgage. It's a goal I've been working very hard at, And so now I own everything free and clear. And the reason I was able to do that is because back in 2007, I made the shift, the ever important shift that if someone wants to be free and they want to decouple how they spend their time from their income, it's the one shift that has to be made. It's indisputable. Most people don't realize it at all because it's not taught in our public school system. And it's no fault to our teachers. I love our teachers. But it's no fault to our teachers, and it's not taught in our public school system, but the shift has to be made from ordinary income to leveraged income. And leveraged income could be passive, could be residual, could be exponential, a combination of such, but basically an asset that you own that pays you residual or passive or leveraged money. And when that happens, you start to decouple your time from your income so that you can do whatever you want with this dash between your birth date and your death date and live however you want, and developing relationships with other people, because ultimately that's what everything is about, is those relationships with other people, the quality of those relationships. It is the difference between life and death, between depression and happiness. And if you think I'm wrong, well, comment about it. If you agree with me, comment about it. Hello, everyone. Vicky, Sylvia, Lisa, Melaine. Great to see you here. So this represents a financial balance sheet. Everybody has one. Every entity has one. Unfortunately, it's not so much taught in our public school systems, but this here represents the direction of your cash flow, which represents if you're a free human being or not. So in this first example here, there's a little sad face here. I don't know if the video is picking it up, but this little black line right here, this is going to the I. That's your income, and down here is your expenses. Down here is your A for assets and L for liability. So the easiest way to define the difference between these two, an asset and a liability, is something I got from Robert Kiyosaki from the Rich Dad Company, and that is, so I'll give credit where credit is due, but an asset is something that puts money into your pocket, preferably passive money, and a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Pretty simple to understand. Income, expense, everybody knows what that is. But this black line here with the little sad face guy up here, that represents your income is being funded by trading your time for money, by ordinary income, like at a job or something like that. And down here, we've got this green line that goes from assets to income. So that's a big difference. That's the shift that you want to make if you want to have more options in life and get ahead and decouple your time, this dash right here between your birth date and your death date. If you want to decouple this dash, your time here on earth from your income, you have to make the shift from this line up here, your income being funded by your job or ordinary earned income, to your income being funded by an asset that you own or a collection of assets that provides passive income. So this one has a happy face. Don't know if the video picks it up, but this line here, assets funding your income, is a happy face. Ordinary earned income funding your income column is a sad face, because the sad face means if you stop showing up, punching in 9 to 5 on the proverbial hamster wheel, this stops coming in. So your time is shackled to your income, and that sucks. That sucks so hard, I can't even put in words how hard that sucks. But if your income is being funded by assets that you own, preferably passive income, and that's funding your income, well, now you got this dash to do whatever you want with. Anything you want. More options in life. And that's why this guy gets a happy face. So that is the fundamentals of all of this. If you understand that conceptually, that's really the first step, to have that awareness, that self-awareness. So ask yourself and be honest. Is your income being funded by something that requires your time or something that does not require your time? And then what are you going to do about it? I used to be this guy here, the sad face. I'd learned about all of this stuff and I decided I got to make a change. And so the biggest, up there with the biggest changes that I've made, and for a lot of you, it's something that's desperately needed and maybe this will make you aware of it, but the biggest change to make is going from I can't because fill in the blank to I have to because fill in the blank. And the fill in the blank can be the same thing in both examples, right? So I'll give you, the two most common examples. I can't because I don't have time and I don't have the money. So there's lots of examples, but those are the two most common ones. So me personally, I went from I can't because I don't have the time and I don't have the money to I have to because I don't have the time and I don't have the money. The reason why that's such an important philosophical paradigm to shift in your brain, to basically flip the script, is because when you do that, you go from a maybe unwittingly a lazy, poor mindset to a rich and creative one that is now on the pathway to finding solutions to some of our problems. And it's gonna, for most people, especially me, it took a lot of failing, a lot of going out there, a lot of pointing, aiming, and firing and missing until I found maybe one or two things out of 1,000 tries, until I found a couple things or one or two things that actually worked. And it was that philosophical driver that made all the difference in the world, because if you're in a poor, lazy mindset, you're going to be trapped, and it's an inside job. But if you shift from a rich and creative one, simply going from I can't because to I have to because, well, now your brain opens up to a rich and creative process that is feverishly on the search to finding answers and solutions to some of your problems. And most of the time you're going to strike out, but once or twice out of 1,000, out of 100, you're going to strike gold. And that makes all the difference in the world. So I hope thus far all of that makes sense, because conceptually that's what it is. And from there, it can be tailor-crafted to an individual scenario such as your own, because my life is my life and your life is your life. We've never walked in each other's shoes, most likely. So things are just very different. So it's really important to get the concept of that. You may have no idea how you're going to produce an asset that funds your income passively with leveraged income. But as long as you got the concept of it, well, now you can begin the search for finding that asset, or how to develop that asset, or whatever the case might be for your individual situation, so that this can eventually happen. So you eventually emerge at some future point as a person with this happening, this asset funding your income, so that you can spend this dash right here between your birth date and your death date doing whatever you want and developing those relationships and those connections with other people. And that's what life is about. It's that dash date right there. But you need this. You really need this to live up to the potential, or to have a shot, I should say, at living up to that potential of this dash right here, to make that dash everything that you want it to be, and maybe even more. So I hope that all makes a lot of sense for everybody. Hello, Tina. Nice to see you. Angela, a bunch of people logged in just now. Very nice to see everybody. Glad you're here. Okay, so that's the concept stuff. So I'll get more specific now regarding me. And please, friends, comment, questions, experiences, or, whatever. I guess especially questions, if you have them. I should be able to see them, and I will address them. Okay? All right, so back in 2007, I was dating a girl. Of course it started that way. Why wouldn't it? It didn't have to, but it did. It's the way the cookie crumbled. But anyway, she was involved in a network marketing company that had to do with health and fitness, home fitness programs, nutritional supplements, and I said no at first until I eventually said yes. And when I said yes, between when I said no and when I said yes, that was the shift that took place between I can't because fill in the blank to I have to because. And for me personally, it wasn't just time and money. So I'll get real personal now and even a bit vulnerable with you. Oh my God. So I was always a social outcast, socially awkward, really hard time connecting with other human beings. And for the most part, that sadly has not changed. I kind of thought it would by now, but it hasn't. And I have a lot of a lot of moments of really profound sadness over that too. And that's just, that's the way that it is. And maybe someday it'll change and it'll get better. But so far, I have not really made much progress in that area, sadly. However, going back off of that tangent to what I was talking about, the girl I was dating back in 2007 got involved in a network marketing company, and she invited me. I said no, then I said yes, because I made that shift from I can't because to I can, or I have to figure it out because. And the paradigm shift that I made was exactly that. And my specific problems were, okay, time. I didn't really have any time, free time. Money, let's see, I didn't have any money because I lost my job. It was offshore to India for cheaper labor. My unemployment had just run out, so I literally had no income. I was not socially connected because I was such an awkward dork, and still am. I still have a hard time connecting with people. It just hasn't worked out for me socially so far. Education, none. Socially connected, certainly not. When I got involved in the network marketing business, nobody signed up with me. I didn't have my first customer until 3 months later. So I didn't go into it like I wasn't one of the first ones into it. By the way, network marketing, it's also been called multi-level marketing and direct sales and network marketing, all kind of the same, I guess. But I wasn't one of the first ones in, so that wasn't it. Whenever somebody hears that I have had success with that, they typically say, "Oh, you must have got in early," or no, I wasn't one of the first ones in, and I wasn't socially connected. When I signed up, I had zero volume, and I had no volume until 3 months into it, when I finally got my first customer, and it was for $29. 3 months into it, $29. So none of that stuff is true that people project onto network marketers. Oh, you got in early, ground floor, you just got lucky. No, none of that was true. Lisa says, thank you for being real with us. Congratulations on all you. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. And there's a couple of Lisas. Welcome. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's important to be vulnerable because that's what helps us connect. It goes back to this dash here between our birth date and our death date. And for me personally, that's all about connecting with people. In fact, a big reason why I'm making this video is it isn't just to share things with you that I think might help you. I also crave just the connections with people. Who knows who I might connect with in a meaningful way. And that goes a lot towards my mental health too, my psychological health and my mental health. I need to have good connections with people who want to connect in a meaningful way, even if there is nothing financial to gain from it. And I've also learned over the years that really is a defining characteristic of a person, is if they're willing to love and support people, even if there is nothing financially to gain from it. And in network marketing, sadly, there's quite a few people where they're only nice to you, MLM in general. There's quite a few people where they're only nice to you and loving and supporting in a false kind of way because they're only loving and supporting to try to manipulate you to get you to join their deal. And it's so heartbreaking that there's a lot of people like that. Network marketing seems to be an industry that draws a lot of those people. And it's incredibly sad to me. I don't like it at all. But I am proud to be hopefully a shining light in this industry that has a lot of darkness to it because there's a lot of very nefarious people in this industry. But I sort of view this industry as a reflection of life, and in life itself, there are a lot of nefarious people who are willing to psychologically damage people to get what they want. And that is so incredibly sad to me. It just, I hate it. I hate that part about mankind. So I'm always craving meaningful connections with just good people without any hidden agendas or hidden motives. And I hope that comes across in all of my videos, including all of my marketing videos. And if you ever see me sharing an opportunity with you, I hope it comes across that way and that as well. So where was I before that tangent? So, oh yes, back in 2007, that shift that I made for this dash here between the birth date and the death date, so that I could come to a place where maybe I wasn't so desperate for time or money anymore. That was the major shift. I went from I can't because to I have to because. And then the brain just opens up to a rich and creative mindset so I can start solving those problems. And not being socially connected at all. And I didn't get my first customer until 3 months into it. So all of those things that people say to somebody who's in network marketing who had any success, oh, you just got lucky, you got in early enough, or you're socially connected. Obviously not in my case. Maybe it's happened to somebody else, I don't know, but certainly not in my case. It was all blood, sweat, and tears. Proverbial. I don't think I've ever lost any blood over it, but definitely sweat and tears. That part is quite literal and proverbial. And an eagerness to learn and be corrected over and over again. And also, especially in anything sales related, one of my biggest things, I believe, that led to any amount of success for me, to being able to pay down all these mortgages and buy all these properties and own them all free and clear, including the house that I live in and all that, to have no mortgage, no rent. I just own everything. It's amazing. But I think one of the most important variables to this, and I wish everybody in sales would have this attitude, whenever I invite somebody to look at my deal, my opportunity, I let them know, hey, look at it, see if it's something that speaks to you. And if it doesn't, it is no big deal. I hope you find something that speaks to you and you're just amazingly, wonderfully happy, whatever it is, whether I gain from it or I don't gain from it, I don't care. So, and there's so many ways to communicate that, but I just let people know if it speaks to you, great. If not, no big deal. I support you. And I think that's super important. It's beyond important. It goes to, in my opinion, it goes to mental health and psychological well-being to treat people that way and to feel loved and supported, whether there's a financial gain or not. And the reason I don't worry about, well, how am I going to pay my bills if I don't make any sales, is because there's a market share of hundreds of millions of people just in the country that I live in. And plus, we're open in other countries too. So it's beyond hundreds of millions of people. Of course, obviously, there's always going to be people who it does speak to, people who do line up with me or like me, trust me, whatever. So I'm not at all worried about it if someone genuinely just isn't into it. It's not a manipulation tactic like a reverse psychological thing. I genuinely mean it. If it speaks to you, great. If not, no big deal. I support you. And that's a to have that genuine philosophy is a pretty big deal, and I do believe it has a lot to do with any success that I've created in network marketing or direct sales or MLM in general. Hello, Kizzy, nice to see you. Janine, very nice to see you. Thank you for being here. So all of you out there that want to be entrepreneurs, you want to get into sales of some kind and be an entrepreneur, have that attitude, man. Generally, I say listen to your upline, find out who the rock stars are, and duplicate, but you have to draw a line somewhere. You have to think for yourself. If someone who's done really well is telling you to do something that goes against your own morals and ethics, then push back. Just sort of cherry pick what works for you and reject what doesn't work for you. And always treat everybody with the dignity and the love and the support and respect that you would give anybody, whether there is something financially to gain or nothing financially to gain. And, as a reward for that, I don't know how to word this, but I've had plenty of people come back and sign up with me because I've said exactly that to them. And I had no expectation that they would come back and sign up with me or become a customer or whatever, but they did, because everyone else they talked to maybe gaslit them and made them feel weird. Here's something. I've said this in past videos. If you're looking at a network marketing gig and you're talking to somebody who's a rep or a distributor for said company, tell them, I want to think about it. Or just tell them no. But actually tell them, I want to think about it, because that, even more so than telling them no, if you say, I need to think about it, That's the thing that usually trips their trigger more than anything. And if they try to gaslight you, make you feel weird or bad or whatever, then, you know, that person isn't for you. Don't sign up with that person. Don't hold the company liable for that, because we all act as independent representatives, right? We are Schedule C, 1099, and so on. Just find a different rep, a different distributor, and do the same litmus test. And with me, when someone says I need to think about it, I'm like, sure, take all the time you need, and at the end of the day, it's not for you. It's totally cool. I totally support you, respect you, love you, and I'm your biggest cheerleader, and I genuinely mean that. And including if someone says no, not just that one thing, but whatever somebody says, it's the only way to be the only ethical way to be, in my opinion. Otherwise, I would feel so gross I'd have to take a shower after every conversation. But it's if you want to get into some network marketing gig, that's a great way to do a sort of a litmus test to find out if the person you're talking to is the one you want to get in with or not, if that's your sponsor. I mean, wow, it really is. Hello, Sandy, longtime friend of mine. Great to see you. Crazy TT. Tina, very nice to see you too. So, I've covered a lot in this video so far. Does anybody have any questions while you got me on live feed? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going with this little graph here. By the way, at the top here, I don't think this is turning out in the video very well, but it says orgasmicpathways.com. It's a new domain I just bought. It basically points to tomberkenmeyer.com. But tomberkenmeyer.com, I got sick and tired of having to spell or say, just like it's spelled here on social media. People typically don't stick around for that. But Orgasmic Pathways, I think everyone knows how to spell. It's easy to remember. And when you get there, it says choose your pathway. And it's categorized mostly by music and health and wellness, and then subcategories from there. And you can pick whatever you want. I think I got it organized in a pretty easy, a very easy way to find your way around. Just choose your path. What are you interested in? You look at the categories and there you go. So orgasmicpathways.com. And by the way, if you're going to be an entrepreneur and develop this over here, this asset to fund your income so that you can spend this dash between your birth date and your death date however the heck you want and develop meaningful relationships. I forgot where I was going with that. This video will be completely unedited. I think that has maybe another contributing factor to my success is I'm not worried about being polished. I'm in a suit right now because I chose to be. It's fun. It's fun to get dressed up for these financial videos. But orgasmicpathways.com. Go there, pick your pathway, and work on this right here. Asset funding your income. Make that transition between your job funding your income and your assets funding your income. And, I'm all about options. Keep your job if you want it, but the point is make it optional. And sometimes, something happens to your job where it's offshore to India, like mine was, or if there's a merger and acquisition, some company buys your company and your job is gone for whatever reason, it won't matter if you loved your job. It won't matter at all because it's gone. So if you have this asset here funding your income versus only your job funding your income, you're going to be okay. Bills, groceries, all that stuff will be taken care of. Family, your kids' health, everything will be right there. It's a good thing. Wow, so many people here. It's really cool to see everybody. All right, what else can I talk about before I shut this video down? I might do a live feed playing guitar later. I've got this guitar, well, actually it's not on video right now, but I've got this thing standing here. See, there it is. Oh, there it is. It's like, I'm talking about finances. What does a guitar have to do with finances? Well, it doesn't, except it does because it goes back to this dash right here between your birth date and your death date. This dash, for me personally, I love music. I love playing guitar. I love dedicating time to it. time that is uncoupled from my income because I have my asset column funding my income column versus ordinary income from a job funding my income column, which means I can spend more time on my guitar. So when you're going from this sad world here where ordinary job income is funding your income to an asset paying and leveraged income funding your income, when you make that transition, then everything becomes relevant because this is your time. And with your time, that's your mind, your body, your soul is invested in your time and how you choose to spend your time. And that's what this opens up for you, is having an asset, developing an asset that funds your income. So for me, guitar. I love guitar. I love shuffling, dancing. I love dancing. Oh God, I love guitar. I love music. I love dancing. I love being able to do what I want with my time. And that's why it's important to make that shift from here to here. So that's why I do silly little things that seem irrelevant, like having a guitar here, because it's not relevant, except it is, because that's how I choose to spend my time. And it doesn't matter if it pays me. In fact, the guitar and music, not only does it not pay me, but I have to give up money to have these things. That guitar was $1,800. And I got another one just like it, except the color black instead of white, another $1,800. And then there's all kinds of examples that cost me money that pays me nothing, but that's where I want to put my time and some of my money. And because of this here, because I got away from this black line, ordinary earned job income funding my income, down to an asset that pays me, that funds my income column, I can spend my time in those things. So it's never about the money. A great analogy is, why does anybody buy a drill? Is it because they have a fetish for a drill? No, it's because they need a hole in the wall. So money is sort of the same thing. I want to do what I want with that dash between my birth date and my death date. And to do it, I need an asset or an asset column that could have many assets that funds my income with passive money, so I can do whatever I want with that dash. That's a great analogy. I love that one. Hello, Robin, Dawn. Wow, it's great to see you guys. All right, so we are pretty much at the end of this video now. And Robin, Dawn, gosh, you got here just at the very end. You missed it. You'll have to go back and look at the archived live feed to get all the really good, amazing stuff. Oh, man. I'm very happy with the way that this live feed turned out. The content I went over, the philosophical epiphanies I went over in this video are the most valuable and important. The functionality of all of it, the mechanical stuff is really cool too, but it's the philosophical drivers and the shift and the paradigm shift in that makes all the functional stuff work for an individual versus not work for an individual. So for those of you that just popped on, or any time after when I first started, which is mostly everybody, I hope you go back and you look at the recorded live feed, which Facebook will automatically post on here. And also I'm going to upload a copy of this to my YouTube channel, so you can go there. So please subscribe to me, my YouTube channel, Tom Birkenmeyer. You can also go to Orgasmic Pathways. Thank you very much for that, Robin. I'll give you credit. You just signed on. That was your idea, and I went with it. So go to Orgasmic Pathways. You'll find my YouTube channel there. Subscribe to me. All the stuff I give away for free. YouTube is pretty badass. It's just downright gangster. So YouTube has a business model that allows a content creator like me to give everything away for free and still get paid. And the way I get paid is you subscribe to my YouTube channel and you comment on my videos, and that in essence helps me with the monetization and getting paid, so I can continue to keep just giving away stuff for free and not charge you for anything. So you get to get all this stuff and not have to lay your credit card down, and you get it for free, so long as you support, your favorite, I guess, YouTube people. And if I happen to be one of them, I appreciate that very much. And maybe I'll close on this note. If you're going to be an entrepreneur and develop this asset that funds your income so that you can do whatever you want with this dash between your birth date and your death date, so you can do whatever you want with your life, if you're going to do that, get with a lawyer, a practicing attorney in your jurisdiction, and structure yourself legally so that you can't lose everything if somebody decides to sue you. So take me, for example. I've got all these different assets, all these properties. I just recently finished paying down, own everything free and clear. I have nothing of value in my personal name. I got together with my lawyer. We created all these different legal entities and structured myself in a way that has real legal teeth, because I did it with a lawyer who's practicing in my state and my jurisdiction. So if somebody does decide to sue me, they're not going to get too far. I'm protected against plaintiff attorneys and creditors. And odds are, if somebody tries to sue me for whatever, me personally, their lawyer is just going to drop it, because there's no money in it for that lawyer, and lawyers want to get paid. I mean, it's a big donut. It's nothing. So you have to do that, because there are people in our society who would rather sue than work hard for a living. And that's not to say that there aren't legitimate lawsuits. Of course there are. But there's also illegitimate lawsuits, and that's what you have to protect yourself from. And if you put things that are of value in your name, then you are completely exposed. Then it's possible somebody could take it from you. So you need to do it, and you need to do it with a lawyer who is practicing in your jurisdiction to set you up, structure yourself legally so that it actually has real legal teeth, so that you're protected. That's, I cannot put enough importance. There's so many horror stories out there of people who skimped out on that, didn't do it, they get sued, they lose everything that they put all their heart and soul and blood, sweat, and tears into, and those stories are so heartbreaking. But there are morally bankrupt, sick, vile people out there that will destroy innocent people so that they don't have to work hard for a living for what they want. So you got to protect yourself. All right, so I hope I made my case with that. So part of the reason I wanted to make that known is just in case any of you have any ideas out there to go after me. Well, you know that, anyway, you catch my drift. It's especially if I'm going to make videos like this. Are you kidding me? Where I just basically tell you I've got all these assets. Are you kidding? To not be protected? I mean, if anybody watching this video, some rando has dollar signs in their eyes, well, I just squashed that like a bug, right? So, you know, you just have to. You got to do what you got to do. And whatever lawyer fees that you pay, keep this in mind if you're worried about that. It's 100% a tax deduction. So spend the money on a lawyer to get structured properly, okay? Protect yourself. Okay, I think that about does it for this live feed video. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate everyone who is here. And I'll come back. I'll see comments. If you comment, I'll answer questions, and it'll be fun to answer them even after the fact. Thank you for the hearts. People sending me hearts. I see those. That's pretty cool. Definitely appreciate that. Bye for now.